Good morning. It is Thursday, November 22nd. Happy Thanksgiving. And this is the drill. Okay, this is Ron. Thank you very much. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States of America today, because I'm the only one that makes the presumption for the status quo. And this is the show. It's not for, that's for the butchers, the bakers, and the candlestick makers, and not for the professors and lawyers and news media types, for instance. So, Thanksgiving. There's a couple of thoughts on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, it seems to me, like Christmas and a lot of other holidays, seems to more or less meant for children. When I was a kid, I loved Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was great. Christmas was great. All the holidays were great. You got a day off of school, and you got to do things that you normally didn't get a chance to do. And in the case of Thanksgiving and Christmas, actually, you got the opportunity to eat things that you don't normally eat. I mean, how many people have turkey on a regular basis? Nobody that I know of. The only time people really eat turkey is on Thanksgiving and or Christmas time. Same thing with ham. Ham doesn't seem to be a daily staple. You know, something that we didn't eat ham. I can't. I don't remember a time ever that we ate ham other than, again, on Thanksgiving or Christmas. Stuffing, same way. Cranberry sauce. Who eats that on a regular basis? Who goes to the store and gets, hey, we're out of cranberry sauce. You know, I'm going to have a peanut butter and cranberry sauce sandwich. Actually, it doesn't sound too bad. I might give that a shot. But one of the things that I'm not, as an adult, it seems that the holidays get in the way. And it's not the holiday itself. It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas. It is the federalization of these holidays. It used to be that it was the holiday was a personal thing, a family thing. You celebrated it as an expression of who you are, what you believed. And usually it's an expression of your Christian faith. Now, they're federal holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc., are Easter, are federal holidays. And so everything shuts down. And as an adult, that's rather inconvenient because you need to go to the bank, you need to go to the post office, you need to do the things that adults have to do. And guess what? You can't do it because everything is closed. And those things that aren't closed in the morning, by the way, are usually closed by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and it seems to me that people should be free to celebrate, again, whatever holidays are. For instance, if you're Muslim, Thanksgiving is basically a Christian expression it's an expression of Christian faith. Why would a Muslim want to celebrate Thanksgiving? Right? They have their own holidays, Ramadan, etc. And same thing if you're Jewish and any other faith. So federalizing the holiday, making it a federal holiday and giving people time off and whatnot, it seems to me you're robbing people of something very personal, and also forcing people that don't necessarily want to celebrate the holiday into celebrating it. It would be better if they didn't federalize the holiday. It also allows you, if it wasn't a federal holiday, to celebrate it when you see fit. For instance, maybe I don't want to celebrate it in November, particularly the third Sunday, because a month later is Christmas. And maybe I think that's, I don't like having those holidays right back to back like that. There might be some people that prefer to have it next to Christmas. Maybe a week before Christmas, you celebrate Thanksgiving, then you celebrate Christmas. Or maybe September. September's rather light on holidays. You've got, Labor Day. And other than that, the month is kind of wide open. So maybe the third or fourth week in September would be the best thing for me and my family to do. So again, it takes having a federal holiday, making a federal holiday out of this takes away my options, and I'd rather have the options. But in any case, I like Thanksgiving mainly because of the memories. That's what, whenever the Thanksgiving rolls around every year, then I am reminded about, again, being a kid. As an adult, it's not that big a deal, but as a kid, it was fun. It was, again, a day off of work, and I get to eat things and see people, because very often you're having friends and relatives over. So you get to eat things and see people that you don't get to see, you don't get to eat or see on a regular basis. And so that was nice. It also somehow it seems to blend in nicely with fall. And so there's those kinds of memories, the leaves turning and the air is getting a little bit cooler and crisper. And so there's a little bit of wistfulness for me and a little bit of nostalgia, I guess it would be, regarding the Thanksgiving holiday. So today what I want to do is read from a book about American culture and reclaiming American culture. And it's by Anthony. It's called Out of the Ashes, Rebuilding American Culture by Anthony Esolen. And Thanksgiving, I think, is an appropriate day to start reading this because Thanksgiving is a uniquely American celebration. So this is the introduction called The Rubble. In this book, I shall indulge myself in one of civilized man's most cherished privileges. I shall decry the decay of civilization. I stand with Livy, who at the final hardening of Rome's republican arteries wrote that the study of his land's history was the study of the rise and fall of moral strength, with duty and severity giving way to ambition, avarice, and license, till his fellow Romans sank lower and lower, and finally began the downward plunge which has brought us to the present time, when we can endure neither our vices nor their cure. My heart goes out to the exiled Dante, who loved his native city of Florence with its old aristocratic modesty and gentility, and hated what it had become, a bustling center of money-making and bloodthirsty politics. Thus he had his great-great-grandfather in paradise, like any other old Italian man, rocking on his front stoop to this day, say of his now long-forgotten fellows. With these, and others I saw in Florence in repose, never a cause to shed a tear. With these, I saw them lead a just and glorious life. Townsmen who never saw some victor drag their lily backward in the field, nor strife of party turn it red upon the flag. Or I walk with the ancient Saxon poet of The Wanderer, whose principal experience in this world is the loss of what was once full of vigor and glory and gladness. He who thus wisely considers this wall, the world, and into our dark life casts his mind deep, his heart old and keen, calls back from long ago that wealth of slaughters, and utters these words, Where has the horse gone? Where has the hero? Where are the hall joys? Where the river of gems? Where the gathering for feasts? Alas, the bright goblet! Alas, the burnished mail! Alas, the prince's power! How that time has passed, now dim under the night helm, as if it never were. After Rome was sacked in 410 by a frustrated glory-seeker, the German warlord Alaric, St. Jerome wrote, Who would believe that Rome, built up by the conquest of the whole world, had collapsed, that the mother of nations had become also their tomb? Unquote. I might say now, quote, Who would believe that the whole Western world, in whose image, for better or for worse, all nations seem to hurry to refashion themselves, would collapse, not battered from without, but sagging into lethargy and indifference and stupor from within, unquote. Are the words too harsh? Let me anticipate an objection that my own citations above must provoke. Quote, people are always complaining about decline and fall, unquote, some will say. Quote, but that does not mean that things are actually as bad as they believe. It is simply one generation's way of complaining about the next. You are an inverterate laudator temporis acti, one who praises the time gone by, forgetting its evils, and overlooking the virtues of the present age, unquote. There are two answers to the charge. One is that in any civilization, at any time, there will be some good things in decline, and so we will always need people who pull us up short and say, quote, perhaps the amalgamation of family farms into vast tracts of agribusiness is not an entirely good thing, unquote. Or, quote, perhaps the nearly universal exodus of women from homes and neighborhoods into offices does not bode well for the homes and neighborhoods, and that it is something we should consider, unquote. In itself, the radio is a wonderful thing, bringing great music and pleasant entertainment into millions of homes. It also precipitated the decay of music made by people themselves. From printed scores, from folk memories passed down over the centuries, and from sheer quirky inventiveness. In itself, the television is a wonderful thing. Why, you might watch a special on emperor penguins of the Antarctic and see the big fellows waddling about the ice, diving into the cold seas to fish, or settling their large eggs between their feet to keep them warm. But you may more likely waste countless hours and half attention and not even know the name of that cheerful little gray bird with the crest pecking at the back of some tree or other 10 feet from your window. More people watch baseball than ever before. In high-tech stadia, prickly with electronic pictures and lights and noise that are meant to be like injections of adrenaline over and over. Fewer people play it. Every small town in the country once boasted its own baseball team. Plenty of factories did, too. All that is gone, and nothing in a town's common life has come to replace it. Rather, most of the things that were like it, town bands, playhouses, choirs, block parties, founders' days, and so forth, are gone, too. So there will always be some justification for those who warn about things passing away. But the second answer to the charge of exaggeration or intransigent nostalgia is more powerful. Sometimes entire civilizations do decay and die, and the people who point that out are correct. Think of the incomparably lively centuries when the city-states of Greece were at their height, when the lyric poet Pindar, profoundly religious, wrote odes in honor of triumphant boys and men at the games of Olympus or Delphi, celebrating not a mere individual achievement, but the very history of the lad's city and family, in the context of the ever-suggestive stories of the gods. When Athens invented drama itself, and Aeschylus, in the context of the new Athenian democracy, composed the Orestia, the unsurpassed trilogy of blood, guilt, and revenge, of dark passions that we must never ignore, of reasoned argument and the chance, never a certainty, that men can see through the murk of rage and selfishness and come to the straight and just decision. It was when the great statesman Pericles commissioned the building of the Parthenon, that clean and gleaming colonnade of Greek devotion and celebration, now in ruins, thanks to the Turks, who used it for an ammunition cache, exactly as if someone were to use the Bow tapestry for a throw rug. But having reached her peak, Athens was then absorbed into the empires of Philip of Macedon and his son Alexander, and, 2 centuries later, Rome. She was still the schoolmistress of the Mediterranean world, even after her arts went into decline. The people of the ancient world came before the modern watershed, that which encourages us to believe that what is current must be superior to what is past. We apply what we see in the progress of technology to all other human endeavors and fail to ask whether technological innovations themselves are always unmixed blessings. Excuse me. Let alone whether, for example, modern art, with its inhuman abstraction or its deliberate ugliness, is really an advancement over what the great tradition had bequeathed to us. Modernity is all too often a cult of erasure and oblivion. The ancients still had memory. And that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. I did also want to read the contents from the contents page of this book, because I think that he's going to be dealing with a lot of good, interesting things. Chapter 1 is called Giving Things Their Proper Names, the Restoration of Truth-Telling. Chapter 2, Accept the Lord, Build the House, Restoring a Sense of Beauty. 3, A mind is a terrible thing to baste, restoring the school. 4, man by nature desires to know, rebuilding the college. 5, repudiating the sexual revolution, restoring manhood. 6, restoring womanhood, building homes, not houses. 7, work while it is yet day, make good things again. 8. Playing upon the waters, bringing play back to life. 9. Idiots no more, recovering the polis. And 10. Pilgrims returning home. So, and that's again by this is a book, Out of the Ashes: Restoring, Rebuilding American Culture, by Anthony Esolen, Esolen. So, and that brings us to the conclusion of another episode of the drill. And I thank you very much for listening. And until next time, have a great day and happy Thanksgiving.